And how amazing is this that it appears to be Tingana and he's not on the very last minute. I'm so excited. We were just very, very lucky. I think he heard all of our prayers because he was just busy walking on the road. That is pretty amazing. I'm just going to go around so that we can have a good look at him. It seems like it's leopard on termite mound day. I am so excited we've managed to fight the gremlins off, at least to come and have this beautiful view from this guy over here. Now, I don't want to move too much because I'm not too sure if he's actually going to start coming down or if the gremlins are going to attack us. So I think maybe we should enjoy the sighting for now. But you can see just how quickly the wind is moving all the grass around him, and it seemed like he caught a scent in the air, something that was quite interesting. So he was definitely putting his head up and sniffing around, and it almost started walking very, very slowly towards the mound. So there could be a potential prey species around here. We haven't managed to spot anything around, but I'm pretty sure that that's what he's going to be looking at. Rocky, you'd like to know what would happen if Shongile met Tingana. Well, a number of things could happen. If he deems that she is not a suitable mating partner, he could kill her because she is still quite a young leopard, or he could just also, as Shongile gets older, he could potentially try and mate with her when she first comes into estrus. It is definitely a possibility, but I think Shongile is also just trying to stay clear of any potential leopard. Oh, isn't this a sight? I think we've been quite lucky with leopards today. Oh, hello. Turn onto this side. I wonder, I'm sure he feels like he's quite hidden up in there amongst all the tall grass, and if, you can imagine how easily, now that you see it from a bit more of a distance, how easily it is to miss him. And just as easy as it is for us not to see it, then it's also quite easy for the prey species and everybody else around to miss him. So it's quite a good spot that he chose around there. Same as Shongile this morning with the wind. I think they're looking at something. Obviously their senses are a bit more heightened and more acute than ours. So I think he's surveying his territory. He was just scent marking all around the road. So as we were following him and fighting the gremlins off, and I apologize for that. He didn't seem to be too bothered, and then all of a sudden he got here, and there was something there that caught his attention. Alright, I think maybe now that he seems to be quite happy up there, maybe we're gonna try and see if we can have a look at his face. So I'm gonna move, and hopefully we'll be able to have a look from his face, because I'm sure there's a bit of an open gap just ahead of us, and I would really like to see him. My goodness, definitely gonna go keep all the tree juju, mojo, good luck charms going. They seem to work. You're wondering if the leopard, cheetah, and tiger are well, I'm not too sure about the ones in a tiger. I would imagine him as the same as the guys here, but no, not necessarily as asymmetrical. There we go. I think, can you see him from there? There we go. Alright, sorry guys. There we go. Up in a termite mound. Somebody's gone off to sleep now. Well, look at that. Hello, boy. He is quite a stunning individual. He's looking quite in good condition. Unfortunately, I don't know if you guys managed to have enough of a look while we were moving in when we first spotted him. Seems to be quite healthy and looking quite alright, so good for him. And if this is indeed Tingana, very happy to see him now. I think maybe just proving us that we can't really predict the movements of any animal. I think maybe he's just now decided to show us who's really the boss, and that he'll appear and disappear as much as he wants to, because maybe he didn't like the nickname. He has moved quite a bit, because last time we saw him was in the completely northern side of the property, and now we are pretty much basically on the southern side of the property. So quite a bit of a distance. No doubt that he is claiming to be the king of Djuma. Amazing, look at that. Beard, you're wondering if leopards groom themselves like domestic cats. Yes, they do. Their tongues. I don't know if you've got a domestic cat and you've ever had your cat lick you, and it's a very rough tongue. So the tongue of a leopard is pretty similar, or pretty much the same. They've got little papillae, almost like little spots in their tongue that make them rough, and it's a bit rougher than a human tongue. And they've got a specialized tongue in the sense that because there are so many fractions in between each, or space in between each and every single one of these papillae in their tongue, they are able to clean themselves, and that's what they use to get out all of the extra loose hair, or the the dirt, and what else could they have? Blood, meat when they start eating. So pretty much the same as a domestic cat. We're gonna see if the king decides to wake up from his slumber, but in the meantime, let's go to Taylor. Oh, seems like Taylor's kudu run away, so all good. We don't mind staying around here. I'm sure Taylor will do a fantastic job in finding a different one, and hopefully she'll be able to find, who knows, maybe all those lion tracks that she was looking at. I think all of the animals are being quite funny today, and I wouldn't be surprised that he actually went all the way up there just because it's warm. Seems like the wind has finally calmed down. He's got a bit of... No, was I saying horrible things about you being sleepy? He definitely heard something that I didn't hear somewhere around this area, which is proof that even when they're sleeping, they're always quite alert, even if it's at a subconscious level of what's going on around them. So they'll wake up very quickly, especially if they feel like there's something, that another potential predator around here, perhaps an elephant in the distance. So their heads will get up and quickly scan the area, and if he deems that there's nothing to really worry about, then he'll go back to sleep. Seems like maybe something in the east has caught his eye. I love it how they think that we can't see him. This is, I'm sure, the way that they do it a lot of the times. But how wonderful of him to come up on this termite mound. I think this is probably the most iconic view of a leopard, typical on top of a termite mound. I absolutely love it. Jeremiah, you wonder if they get hair bulbs like normal cats. Well, I've never seen one regurgitate one like sometimes normal cats do, but we do find a lot of hair in their tongue. So I'm not too sure if they actually share this trait. I would imagine they do, but I would have to go and do slightly more research about it, because I do know that they eat quite a bit of hair when they're grooming themselves, because whenever we find their scat, there's a lot of hair that belongs, well, not only to them, but to whatever it is that they've eaten. So I'm not too sure, to be honest. I don't think they would be too different to domestic cats in that regard. They seem to share a lot of other basic traits with them as well. But definitely not like in the cartoons when you see, a domestic cat just pretty much opening its mouth and then this massive ball rolling out of them. That I don't think does happen out here in the wild. I'm just so surprised. I mean, we just came across the right road at the right time and we were just so lucky to catch him on his patrol. I think Taylor had tracks for a male leopard this morning, not too far from the general area where Shongile was seen. So I wonder if he's also been up a tree somewhere or, hiding in between the grasses. And now that the temperatures started to drop and the wind has also died down, that's when he decided to start moving around. Would be interesting to see if we were able to follow him from the beginning, just at roughly what time and where he came from. It's always a mystery. Where did the leopard go? Where did the leopard came from? Seems like the king of some of the leopards in this area has decided to go to sleep, so we're gonna stick around here for a little while longer, see if he does decide to wake up. But in the meantime, let's go to Taylor, who's at Buffalo. So damn, I wonder what there is there. He's still tucked away in the grass, looking very regal all the way from up there, and just looking at us like, the humans that we are. Doesn't seem to be too concerned about anything in life. Not too much has caught his attention, but look how the wind is moving all the grass. So I'm sure he's gonna try his luck at some point tonight. Maybe he'll get lucky. Maybe that's what he's waiting for. Maybe that's why, or that's precisely the reason why he went all the way up there, just to look for any potential impala or bushbucks or dikers or anything else that might be around here. Who knows, maybe even he'll be interested in something bigger like a young kudu. I would say he is almost sitting at the same height that Shongile was yesterday on the tree. Mark, you're wondering how far a leopard can hear? Well, I'm not 100% sure of the precise distance, but I think it depends on a series of factors. So I reckon they can hear a couple of kilometers away from where they are sitting, but it depends on what the wind is doing. So I think on days like today they probably cannot hear too much about what's happening around. Now that he's higher on higher ground, I'm sure he'll be able to hear more things from a distance, but also when he's walking in areas that are a bit thicker or through vegetation, then he will just be able to hear a few, maybe 100 meters of what's going on around him. In that regard, I think that's probably why some of the creatures that live in very thick vegetation, like the kudus, have got bigger ears, so that they're able to pick up pretty much any little noise that's coming from around them. They do have very good sense of hearing and superb sense of smell, so I'm sure it'll be a combination of the two that will help him find his next meal or any potential leopard. Stroll here, you say that the leopards are posing well this week. Well, I have to fully agree with you, even if, they're maybe the posing has made them both very tired, because Shongile was also happily asleep when we found her yesterday afternoon, but I'm not complaining. I love seeing leopards even when they're sleeping. And it's amazing how they just manage to sleep even when we're around here, and just, they manage to block our noise out and be like, ugh, nothing to worry about, everything's fine. They both, however, have chosen spectacular spots today. I mean, going up on top of those termite mounds. When we could see the termite mound in the distance and we saw him walking, I think both Greg and I had our fingers crossed and be like, up the mound, come on! And then he did go all the way up on the mound. He was a bit wary when he was going up. I think maybe he was a bit concerned that there might have been something else on the other side of the mound. So just took it kind of easy and, was just ready. Before he went up, he was listening a little bit, because as we can see, it's a mound that's quite full of grass. So he was maybe worried that there could have been something there. Happily asleep. Look at him. I wonder where we're gonna find you tomorrow, and if we do, because he tends to walk quite quite a lot during the night, so I wouldn't be surprised if maybe later on today we heard him calling, and that if he were from all the way up there, we could hear it from wherever we live. Are you waking up again? What are you listening to? I think maybe it was a bit of a grass that got into his ear that was bothering him. Joshua, you're wondering what the difference between a leopard and a jaguar is. Well, they look very similar, both of them, but they live in very different places. So leopards, we find them pretty much all over the world, especially Africa and Asia. And I think maybe at some point we used to get them in Europe, but I don't think there's been one in there for centuries. And jaguars, we find them in South America, especially around the jungle. They live in pretty different habitats. Leopards in this area, and particularly in Africa, they have a very wide range. I mean, they're all the way from Central East Africa all the way to the south, so they've adapted to live in areas that are a bit more forest-like. Some of them even live in the desert, some of them live in the savannas, like this one over here. And jaguars, they seem to prefer forests, so areas where there is a lot more water. Jaguars are very good at swimming, one thing that leopards don't seem to prefer doing all too much, although there are leopards in certain very wet areas like in Botswana that have been known to go swimming, to cross channels and everything else. But in general, they're not particularly attracted to the water like a lot of the jaguars are. And another slight difference between leopards and jaguars are a bit somewhat like stockier in build, if I can put it that way. And their spots, their rosettes, are a bit different. So you see the ones for the leopard, and hopefully once he gets up we'll be able to see the sides of his body, which is when it becomes a bit more obvious. Actually, let me see if I've got a book quickly where I can show you. What are you here? Look at that, the cover. So if you see the rosettes of the leopard, you'll see that we'll have one spot here, but they're all put in pretty much a circular way. And not all the time do we get a little dot in the middle. That's another good giveaway if you're trying to compare a leopard of a jaguar. Normally the jaguars will have an extra spot in between their spots. Or their rosettes, which is a bit more technically correct. That's what we call a leopard spot. And, well, leopards over here, they'll eat anything from impala to chicks, scrub hares. What else have we seen them eating? Kudus, guinea fowl, pretty much all of these things. A lot of the jaguars specialize in hunting small crocs. They are really good at swimming, and they tend to hunt them. There have been quite a few attempts of filming them in the wild, and there are some amazing documentaries out there. So if you can, I would recommend you see one of them, because it's quite interesting, because they do look very much like a leopard, but are just slightly different. And the more you see them, the more you are able to tell the difference between the two. Seems like this boy is quite happy all the way up here. So let's go over to Taylor and see how she's doing. Well, the plot thickens. One of the guides just mentioned that on the other side of Tingana there's a burrow. So I wonder if he's actually up here because he's waiting for something to come out. We know that he's got a knack for patiently waiting for things and moving around. So I think maybe if we are patient, we'll see. We'll carry on hoping that perhaps something's gonna come out of it. I think behind us there is a warthog that's very likely seen in Tingana. Maybe that's who's been using the burrow. I'm sorry guys, it is a bit complicated to get to this warthog, so I will keep you posted on the movements. But it somewhat seems that maybe this is the guy that's been living in this burrow. And as we know, warthogs are diurnal creatures, and they come into the burrows to spend the night. So I wonder if maybe we were in his way and he's just gonna go all the way around. So we're just gonna We're just gonna stick around here and we'll see what happens, because there is also a good chance that this male warthog will spot Tingana and just pretty much run away. Very clever, this boy. He had us fooled. Nick, you're wondering if leopards have unique hunting characteristics. I think every individual has got unique hunting characteristics. Leopards in general, maybe you've spotted the warthog. Leopards in general, they tend to prefer stalking and getting very, very close to their prey before they are able to jump and on it or pounce. They can be very fast. They're probably one of the fastest creatures or one of the fastest predators that we've got around this area. However, they can only sustain that speed for very few seconds. So this is why they have to try and get very close to pretty much anything to then be able to pounce on their prey. I think this boy in particular, he's been known to do this before. I didn't notice that there was a used burrow on the other side of the mound, so he's been known to just wait on top of burrows to either dig things out that go in or to drag them out as they decide not to come out. I think maybe have you spotted that warthog now? Yes, look at his stalking position. He's definitely spotted it. I'm sure he can see it now. Now there's quite a bit of tension in the air. Sorry, I'm just trying to... So the warthog, I can just see some movement. Sorry guys, there are quite a few trees around here. The warthog is slowly coming towards the mound. And I think Tingana's just realized that, and you see he's lowering himself. You see that? So the warthog is, I believe that this is the resident warthog around this area. What a clever leopard. I'm sure this isn't by chance. I'm sure he had this all planned. Maybe that's what he started scenting when we were arriving here. And you see he's changed all of his demeanor, all of his position. So he's not laying down as he was before. Okay guys, the warthog is very, very close. So I'm going to shut up now. The warthog is on the other side of the mound. Very big tusks. I can only guess that the warthog is slowly making his way back into the burrow, and Tingana can see him. I think maybe he got a fright now. Maybe he thought there was another warthog coming from behind. Okay guys, I'm not gonna move for now, because if I move, I can spook either the leopard or the warthog. So we're just gonna stand still here and just pretty much let this one play out. I know we all want to see what's happening, however, we don't want to interfere whatsoever. So we're gonna let the two of them resolve this in their own natural way. Okay. Yeah, I've seen the warthog move away. He went roughly in that general direction. I think maybe he knew that there was something funny going on. Or maybe that Tingana was up there. Maybe when Tingana moved and he got a bit of a fright, maybe that's when the warthog realized that there was something around here. I'm not too sure if Tingana can still see him. don't think the warthog fully knows that Tingana is here. Sometimes they'll come and they'll approach the burrow a few times before they go inside. Maybe the warthog's just doing a bit of a loop around his burrow. But I didn't see him run off too quickly, so he could still be around. And Tingana definitely seems to think so, because he's still looking with, you know, a lot of attention in that particular direction. I wonder, we've still got a bit of a chance of this warthog coming back. And you see Impala. Tingana has not moved, and he can still see him, so I think he still believes that there's a chance of this warthog coming back. Like I said, sometimes warthogs come up and down before they decide to actually come into the burrow, which they do with their bums facing down. I wonder if he's just waiting for the warthog to come back. How lucky this warthog. He came around and didn't even know there was a potential predator around here. Probably because Tingana is sitting so high up, the wind is swirling. We will sit very still here and just see if perhaps a warthog comes back, or if Tingana decides to make a move somewhere else. While Tingana makes up his mind, let's go over to Taylor, who's bumbling about. Well, the warthog hasn't come back, but we heard it squealing quite far away from here. So we wonder if there is potentially another predator, another leopard, perhaps a lion not too far from here, or what's going on, because, well, the warthog is out of our field of view. So we're gonna move around just to see if perhaps we can get a bit of a better look at Tingana, while one of the other vehicles goes around and tries to figure out what's happened with the warthog. Definitely, we don't really know what's going on now. Okay, maybe I can go around here. Or maybe not. Let's just maybe see. Tingana, what you looking at? What is happening? No. Do you think you can get him from here? Because I don't want to move onto the front, because obviously the burrow is there, and if the warthog does come, it's going to come from that particular area, so I don't want to interfere. So just bear with us, guys. We are trying to see what's happening without getting in the way of any of the action. Alright, so it seems like the warthog carried on running. Not too sure what he saw. I wonder perhaps there was a hyena out and about. Interesting, very interesting, because it's definitely started squealing, and warthogs have a very particular way of squealing once they get attacked, and it's very high pitched and, you know, very dramatic. So I thought maybe I heard a lion. Maybe it was just one of the vehicles moving. Right, I think rather than pretty much hearing anything around, it was just me making up than confusing a lion with maybe the vehicle switching off. Very clever, Tingana. I had heard stories about you doing this, but I didn't ever think that I would get to see you actually pull it off. Seems like the warthog escaped just in case. Just as he was about to come in and get into the burrow, because they normally do it with their backs towards the burrow, and then they leave their tusk, which is their way of defending themselves, they leave them facing out. So if anything does try to take them out of the burrow, like in this case Tingana, they can use their tusk to defend themselves. So I think the warthog was about to get in, and then all of a sudden something didn't feel right, and then it ran away. Daniel, you are 13 years old and you'd like to know how old can leopards get. Well, it depends if they're boys or girls. Boys tend to live a little bit less than the girls, but anything between maybe, I would say, 12 to 15 years of age. Sometimes a little bit more than that if they've been particularly lucky in life. And females can live until maybe they're about 20 or so. I can hear the warthog down in the distance. I think maybe he just decided to go running, because sometimes warthogs share their burrows, so maybe it's just gone off telling everybody else not to come here because there's a Tingana sitting on top of their house. Prison, you're wondering if big cats purr like domestic cats. No, lions and leopards cannot purr like domestic cats. They are missing, they have different adaptations in their throat. Their bones are not as flexible as they can be in a domestic cat, but it is what allows them to roar and to soar and to make noises that we can hear for so many kilometers away from when they're actually culling. The only animal or the only big cat that can actually purr is a cheetah, and cheetahs, as a matter of fact, they don't roar. They do more like a chirping noise. And they've got cats, lions and leopards, they've got an ossified hyoid, which is the bone that allows them to make such a big noise. Whereas in domestic cats and in cheetahs, this bone is not ossified, or the hyoid, sorry, is not ossified, and the vibration, that's what we perceive as the purring. They're still very alert. Carter, you are 13 and you'd like to know how many spots does a leopard have? I'm not too sure, I've never counted them, but if I had to take a wild guess, I would say a few hundred of them, because there are lots, even the big ones that you see. So on top of the head you'll see that it's just one single spot, but onto their body then there will be quite a few, and they are put one next to the other and they form pretty much a circle. So lots, and they've also got on their tails, on their toes, on their legs, on their throat, on their nose. So lots of spots. Haven't counted them, but maybe one day we should actually take a picture and try counting them all. I don't think I'll ever be close enough to a wild leopard to be able to count them and tick them off one by one.
Just check back down there. Okay.
Do you need me to move?
No.
Very, very interesting. We've been very lucky. We just caught him as he was sand marking and patrolling his territory on the road, and then he carried on moving north and came up to this termite mound, and he's been pretty much sitting on top of that mound for the last hour. I think it also proves just how patient they are, waiting for a great opportunity to come and to be able to bring down their prey. We saw this male nearly missed a chance. He didn't have to move a lot. I think the warthog spotted it before that. But we'll carry on waiting and see what else happens, if there's anything else that might come back into this area. But in the meantime, and while we wait, why don't we head over to Taylor and see what else she has found for the day. Yes, he has not moved. Maybe he is feeling a bit sad because everybody said that they wanted to see lions instead of leopards. So maybe Tingana's heart is broken. I do think that everyone wants to see one lion, maybe two lions in particular. So I'm going to try and explain that to Tingana, make sure he doesn't feel too offended. I don't think he would be too worried. He's gone back to sleep, but what a patience he's got just to sit around here and wait for anything to come and go back into the burrow. I mean, it could be that there is something sleeping in there, although the fact that the warthog came around and he didn't go in could be a very good indication that there is nothing. But maybe he's waiting for some more warthog to make their way in. Maybe, hopefully there is an aardvark in there that's going to run before Tingana manages to catch him. Maybe a pangolin is in there. Who knows? Here's to hoping. But I think it just takes or shows you how patient they have to be, as well as opportunistic. And I suppose it's got to be an opportunity, a combination of the two for them to successfully be able to hunt something, because he was coming along and clearly there was something there that caught his attention and he's gone on top. So he's got the opportunity to exploit this opportunity or this setting that he's in, and he's just making the most of it. I mean, he doesn't really have anywhere else to be. So I wonder if he's just going to sit around here and just wait for the rest of the day to go through and just pretty much wait for anything else to come around. Although I do think that if too many hours pass by, or I would say in the next half an hour or so, if nothing comes along, then we've got a good chance of him coming down and then carry on moving along. Let's just give him a bit more time, see what he decides to do. But let's go across to Taylor, who would like to say hello once more. Hello and welcome everyone. We are very happy to have you today on the last bit of our sunset safari, and we've got a spotted friend that has just raised his head to say hello and welcome all of the schools and the county library that's joining us today. What a stunning view we've had. It's a male leopard that's just scanning around the area, looking at everything and falling asleep every now and again. So we are hoping that he's going to become a bit more active as the day starts coming to an end and possibly start moving around, and who knows, maybe even go hunting. Abby, you're wondering how long leopards live for. It depends a bit if they're a male or a female. Males tend to live slightly less than a female, but females, it's believed that they can live an average of 15 to maybe 20 years if they get very lucky, and males a little bit less, probably maybe around 15, maybe 18 if they get quite lucky. Conditions are out here quite hard for all of the animals around, so they've got to be able to hunt and hide and pretty much get it right every single time to be able to survive for such a long period of time out here in the African bush. Javier, you'd like to know how fast do leopards run? Well, if they're charging, they can come at a speed of maybe 90 kilometers an hour, which is extremely fast. I mean, it's just about 100 meters every 3 seconds or so. So, very, very quick animals. However, they can only sustain that speed for a few moments. They're not able to just carry on running endlessly like that, and they'll have to stop after a few meters. So this is why when they go hunting, they decide to get very close to their prey, and then they can cover that distance. Jaden, you'd like to know if leopards sleep at night. Yes, they can sleep during the night as well as during the day. So this guy has been sleeping a little bit, but we found him earlier on and he was actually moving around. He was patrolling his territory and scent marking. Are you getting up? Are you coming down? But they can also sleep throughout the night. Copy, will do. I'm gonna stick around here. I'll keep you posted. Sorry guys, that was just me talking to one of the other vehicles that's joining the sighting and viewing it with us. We've been here very patiently waiting, and there was a warthog that came along a little while ago, but we think it might have felt that there was something wrong and it carried on running. Because you see, the leopard that we're looking at, he's sitting on top of a termite mound, but on this old termite mound there is a burrow, there is a hole not too far below where the leopard is sitting, so I think he's patiently waiting here for anything to come and spend the night inside the burrow, because it should be quite safe to sleep in there, and he clearly knows that. Bentley, you're wondering how leopards hunt their prey. Well, we're looking at one of them pretty much try to hunt their prey at the moment. Sorry, I'm a bit cold today. I think maybe I need to put another layer on. But they have a few different tactics. But normally, the way that they'll do it is that they'll stalk their prey, so they'll start moving very, very slowly. And they'll try to get into almost like pouncing or striking reach. Because like we were saying earlier, they are quite fast creatures, but they can only sustain that speed for a few meters. And whatever it is that they're chasing, they also can be very fast. And they have their sense of hearing and smell and eyesight that is also very good. That allows them to detect the leopards before they come onto them. David, you're wondering how good a leopard's vision is. Well, I would say very good. It's definitely a lot better than our vision, especially during the night. So they've got a bit of a different structure in their eyesight than ours, which allows them to almost reuse the light that gets into their eyes during the night. And this allows them to see a lot better than what we humans do during the day. So they use it for their advantage, and that is why sometimes they prefer to hunt either when they're in low light conditions like this one or during the night, because they've got a bit of an advantage on top of the other animals. So you see the light is slowly starting to fade, so I think if nothing comes around in the next 45 minutes or so into this burrow, we might get lucky with him coming down and maybe starting to move somewhere else, looking for the next opportunity to hunt. Ellie, you're wondering how big male or female leopards can grow up to. Well, a male can be up to about 80 kilograms, so it's probably the size of an average person, I would say. Whereas a female, or a very big male, might even be a bit more than that. Whereas a female, they can be about 60-70 kilograms. So they're a lot smaller than lions, which is one of the things that allows them to climb into the trees. They're a bit more agile in that regard because they're not as heavy. But still bigger than a normal cat. Rick, you're wondering what is faster, a leopard or a lion? Well, technically speaking, and over very short distances, leopards are faster than lions. However, leopards and lions are a lot faster than humans, so that's why if you ever do come to Africa, one of the first rules that they teach you when you're walking is never to run, because we cannot outrun anything. Everything is faster than us. The elephants, the buffalo, the antelope, everything. Andrew, you're wondering if leopards stay in one spot to wait for food. Well, this particular leopard, it seems like this is one of his hunting tactics. He'll stay in an area because he knows that animals are bound, or very likely bound, to come back into this hole to spend the night. Some of the creatures that move around during the day, they often go into old holes inside termite mounds or areas that are very thick, and that's where they spend the night because it's a bit safer. So I think he is being very clever, and he's waiting for anything to come back around. But if nothing comes, then he's gonna probably carry on, move off, and start looking for food somewhere else. Sila, you're wondering why leopards have spots. Well, it's to hide themselves better. So you see the spots around the body, they break the general body shape of the animal, and if you look maybe a bit more towards the left bottom corner of your screen, you'll see that where the grass is, you can barely see the back of the leopard. So the spots are probably there, or the leopards have evolved to harm them there to blend in better with their environment. While we wait for this leopard's luck to change, let's go over to Taylor and see how she's doing on this beautiful evening. Well, somebody's decided to get up. Are you... I was a bit worried that he was going to start sleeping onto the other side. But no, I think there's a bit of grooming going on. He's been yawning a bit the last few moments, so this is normally a good indication that he's going to become a bit more active. So it could potentially lead to him coming down the termite mound and carry along, moving towards his nighttime patrol. They make all sorts of noises, but I would say the most common one, the one that they use to mark their territory, is called sawing, and it almost sounds like a chainsaw, and that's why they get that name. He's gone down onto the wrong side of the mound, so we're going to have to move around and see if perhaps we can see him from the other side. Let's see, I'm not too sure where he's gone up to. Ah, he's behind us. Well, this is going to be tricky. Alright, we're going to try and figure our way out here, but let's go to Taylor, who's found one of my favorite creatures in the bush. So, Tingana decided to make a move, and he came running and dashing, so we saw him jump onto another... Sorry guys, we just had him. He jumped onto another sounder of warthogs. So I'm sure he's not too far from here. They were all dashing onto different directions, and by the sounds of it, it seems like he caught one. In front of us. Straight in front of us. Has he got anything in... Let's see. Oh my goodness. He's got him. He's got one of the warthogs. So, very patient leopard. He just knew where to go, and I'm sure he knew this warthog were around here this whole afternoon, and he just came... Hey? No, I don't mind. Sorry, I thought you said against it. Sorry, guys. Oh. Aiden, do you wonder how strong a leopard's mouth is? Well, very, very strong. I mean, he's just managed to pull this little warthog down, and he's just busy suffocating it pretty much with the power of its mouth. So I don't think this warthog is still alive. Sorry guys. Mike, I think if you shine from there, he's got a bamba. He just managed to bring down one of those warthogs. Abram, you're welcome too. Sorry, as I move around, then my hand moves with me. I've got to learn to multitask a little bit more. Sorry guys, there's another vehicle here with us, so I was just giving him a bit of an idea of what's happening. So you see he's still holding down this creature, this warthog that we're looking at. By the looks of it, a bit of a youngster. And he hasn't moved, and my goodness, it was so fast. We just saw him jump onto the burrow, and then all of these warthogs started coming out very quickly, and clearly he just decided to dash and make a run for one of them. And even now we can hear some of them outside just around us. So I am sorry if you find this a bit too harsh, so you're more than welcome to look away and maybe just come back a little bit later. This is, however, pretty much just as raw as nature gets, and for every life that persists, unfortunately there's more than likely one that has to perish. In this particular case, well, it didn't fare well for the warthog, but this is probably one of the reasons why this male leopard has been doing so well. And I do think that he knew exactly what he was doing the whole afternoon on top of that termite mound, because the warthogs that we found were not too far from there. So I'm sure he knew that around this area there were lots of warthogs. He is the territorial animal around here, the dominant male, so he knows all of this area. He knows where to go look for food and where to go look for water. Okay, we are going to let you all pretty much recover your breath, and we're going to go to Taylor in the meantime. We're trying to look for Tingana. He's just moved off with the warthog in his mouth. So I'm going to try and position again so that we can maybe have another glance at him. I think he's still moving in the general direction. I'm not too sure. Alright guys, just bear with us for a second while we try to moor it that way. Okay, I also think he went that way, but apparently there's a hole here. Do you see a hole there, Craig? Here. Okay, that's not... Okay. That's maybe... I think maybe I can push my luck through here. Edson, you're wondering the whole thing. Very likely he will, unless a part of it gets stolen. All the meaty parts and probably some of the organs. He will leave the tusks and the hooves that he will not eat. $100 maybe. Ah, there we go. Ah, you see, conveniently up on a tree. He's eyeing the tree. Oh, wait, I got so excited I turned it off. Mind my head. Sorry. Alright, he has brought the kill to the base of a marula tree, so I wonder if he's gonna try and go all the way up here and put it up there. Sometimes they do that to prevent their kill from being stolen by other nocturnal creatures, maybe other leopards, hyenas. But he's definitely looking like he wants to take it up there, so maybe let's just give him a second to see what he would want to do. Oh, I think he's gonna make it. Look at that. Oh my goodness, look how strong this animal is. My goodness. Now the tricky part will be to try and keep it up there. Okay, I'm going to try to move again. Sorry. Just see if maybe I can get through here somewhere and we can actually see the leopard. I can't see. Go slightly forward. There we go. So he's trying to dangle the kill on top of the tree. He's got to put it in a way that it's not going to fall off. This is not a fully grown warthog that he's caught, but rather a youngster. And again, like I say, if you find this too much, please do look away. Unfortunately, we don't plan for these things. This is just pretty much the way nature works all on itself. And as tough as it can be sometimes, like I said, it is, you know, what a leopard has to do in order to survive. I think he's still a bit concerned, whereas the warthog is still alive right now because he hasn't let go. And normally the way that cats, lions and leopards kill is by suffocation, so I think he's just making sure that everything is fine, that he can reposition the kill on top of the tree and it won't fall down or perhaps still be slightly alive. We really hope it's not. Because, yeah, we feel very sorry for the poor warthog, but very happy for Tingana. Abby, you're wondering how much weight can a leopard carry? Sometimes they can even carry twice their body weight up a tree, maybe not just as high up. In this case, because it was something that it wasn't you will find that they will actually either feed off of it for a little bit, or they will take the stomach contents out and feed off the yogurts just to make it a bit lighter before they try to put it up a tree. Wow, what an afternoon it's been. I really don't know what to make of all of these mixed emotions that we've got now. I think this just proves that he had a plan all along, and we just happened to stumble upon him at the right time to witness what just happened, which is very incredible. And again, I'm at a loss of words. I hope you guys, well, I can't say enjoy, but I hope you guys have a greater understanding of nature today and just how magnificent he's been, just to let us have a glimpse into the life of the leopard. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning.